meeting here on August 10th. I will now call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. In attendance tonight, we have Supervisor Erler, Supervisor Ekman, Supervisor Friedman, Supervisor Albert, and I'm Supervisor Birmingham, so we do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. If you need a copy of the agenda, it's up on the podium, so come on up and grab a copy of the agenda if you want one. With that being said, have all the supervisors seen tonight's agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Is Dante DeFranco here? Dante, come on up. The floor is yours. And I think we allotted 5 minutes for this, but go ahead.
I really don't want to be here, but I have to. So I live on the river down on Sandy Shore, and I have a neighbor that bought the place.
Okay, hold on, Dante. Oh, yeah.
So I have a neighbor that bought the place maybe 7 years ago. He's been doing all kinds of beautiful things to it. So not last summer, the summer before, he started doing concrete, stone around the whole thing. Then he put a 30 by 30 roof over his deck over the riverbank. So last summer I came.
Sorry, Dante. Can we have quiet in the room, please? Can we have quiet in the room, please? Go ahead, Dante.
So last summer or spring when he came back here, the river from all the drainage that he did washed out about as wide as that garage door and halfway up. It took 5 triaxles of stone to fill it. But in the interim of doing this, he started building these tiered flower beds right over to my property line. And I didn't really think anything of it. So as the summer progressed last year, I went and I looked, and the bank of the corner of our properties was undermining. And the river hasn't been acting up. I've been there 27 years. And so I said, I'm going to have to start thinking about doing something there. So this spring he came back, and I had the boat in before that, and it was worse. So the first thing he did this spring, and I couldn't figure out why last year he was filling in his drain out, but then he was stopping in the middle of that, building these flower beds, and then going back. I'm like, why is he worried about flower beds? Well, this year he comes back, and he gets three pallets of Sacrete bags, and he goes and he builds, I call it a machine gun turret, on the property line. He started going, he was about 4 bags high, and I went down, I said, it looks nice, but there's only one problem. I said, you're on my property. He said, no, there's no pin. I said, that's because I saw you take it out last year and use it for your flower beds. You use it for a string line. Oh, no, so I did all this for you, he said. So I said, don't go any further. I have Scott Policelli coming to put the pin in. So Scott came in the next week. The next day, he didn't listen to me, and he went and put 12 bags high, and it's a wall coming. So now when the river comes down, it's going to hit the wall and go. So I sent him a thing. I have to get a lawyer involved. So I made a complaint. I started looking at it then, and I said, those aren't flower beds. He hooked them into his drainage off his roof from all the water coming down, and he's draining them onto the property. It's washing the riverbank out. Now he did this diversion wall. It's a perfect storm he's created. He's saturating the riverbank, and it's going to take everybody out down there. We're around the bend. So I saw what he did. I filed the complaint with Tina, and it's been over a month. I have multiple phone calls, and nobody's doing anything. So I came here to be public.
Has Tina gone over and inspected?
No, nobody's been around.
Scott?
Scott put the pin back in, and he actually undermined my property, dug into the root base, took the rocks out of there, threw it on his side, and I got this big void sitting down there. So it's a problem. And it's gonna be a problem that when the water comes up to 12 feet, which it does on a regular basis, it only went up to 10. If it goes up 12, it's coming over a couple other banks and it's hitting that side. And if we have rain while that's happening, he's saturating the ground, plus the river there, and it's washing out the bottom like mud. It's not the river that's eating the bank. It's all the runoff off his property. So
Ron,
the engineer is that guy over there, I guess. Justin.
Ron, what's the township's duty here?
Well, from what I'm hearing, this is a neighbor dispute. I generally don't have the townships get involved in neighbor disputes. Neighbors can sue their neighbors for nuisance.
I don't believe there's any permits for
Let me finish. Sue their neighbors for nuisance or other things. If this was 5 or 10 people coming to you to complain, that might be a little different, as was done with the Stein boiler, etc. But this seems to just be neighbor on neighbor. But
Well, I do have a
Township-
lawyer, but he said to get the township involved first. And we
well,
get
of course
the thing
he
from
does,
them.
so that you don't have to pay the cost of your lawyer. But that's up to the supervisors as to what you want to do with this.
So I should let the Sac Creek bags and the riverbank just wash out and everybody below. Okay,
And
that's it.
any other questions from the supervisors?
And Tina didn't go out and check it? It was only Scott?
No.
Scott was the only one?
Scott was there and I asked Scott, I said, Scott, are they drained diversion ditches? And he says, absolutely. I said, is that what's causing this? He believes so.
So we should have Tina go out there and
Yeah,
see.
I think Tina needs to go out there to ensure that the property lines
Yeah.
weren't switched.
Well, there's no roof. I don't believe there's any permits for the concrete pads that are 30 feet long and the roof is 30, the deck is 30 by 30.
So we'll get Nick to get a hold of Tina and we'll have her go out and take a look.
All right.
Thank you, Dante.
And I didn't want to do this. I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
So Nick, did you hear? We're going to send Tina over to,
But the bottom of this resolution here says that it was sent to Scott and Justin. Justin, did you look at this?
No, not yet. Only if you authorize me to. Tina was looking into it, so. And from my understanding, it was a private dispute, as the solicitor stated. So, but if you want me to get involved, I can. But it hasn't risen to that level yet.
if the riverbank may be in jeopardy, I think it's wise for us to get zoning and engineering if the zoning, if Tina suggests it.
Or on the
the
resolution?
riverbank is definitely in jeopardy. Yes. And the bags were in the water dry. They were getting dead, lost and put back in.
So what are your thoughts, Jason? Okay.
It's in the floodplain.
Okay, so Nick,
It would be Justin.
okay, so we'll have Justin. Justin, why don't you go out and take a look?
Okay.
How about we just send both, just to secure our end?
Okay, we'll open it up for public comment. I have the public comment list right here. We've got a lot of people on the list for public comments, so we're going to hold it to 3 minutes. And then once 3 minutes is up, I ask you to, we're going to try it to, summarize what your public comment is and move on at that point. So everybody gets a chance who wants to make a comment, a public comment. If you have questions, we're not going to do question and answer session all night. I will say David and I are having office hours on Wednesday, August 26th. It'll be here from 6:30 till 8 p.m. And that's a perfect place to, if you have questions, because this is a public comment period. So that being said, John Howard. Yes.
I just want to make a point of order. We do have decorum to follow. Make sure that we're following the 3 minutes, because if we're giving one person 3 minutes, another person 10, it's not equaling out.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 minutes, and then Stavros, I'll let you know if we have to cut the mic. Okay. So John Howard, you're up first.
Thank you. What I want to speak is about the infamous data center, if I may.
I'm sorry, you would speak about what?
Data center.
Okay.
The data center. I understand that there is $50 million bribe, sorry, not bribe, I mean assistance to the township. So I have two questions. The first question is the 50 million, what is it going to be used for? Would it be to reduce taxes? And would it be to pay $1 million per household that may be affected so that they can abandon their houses and go and find something else? And also, can we use the abandoned houses for deaf people to create a society where we are charitable and have deaf people living there, since noise may be a problem? So that was the first point. The second point is to the solicitor. I presume that the company states that there will be no noise, no pollution, no any negative effect. If there is a negative effect, would the agreement provide that they pick up their data center and leave, apart from paying, of course, for damages? That's what I want to know. And I think I'm within 3 minutes.
Thank you. Bob, you're up.
Thank you to the Board of Supervisors. My name is Robert Teal. I'm 2424 North Delaware Drive, Mount Bethel. I am the current chairman of your Planning Commission. Last month, and I don't think there's anybody in this room can say they were severely mistreated in the last 30 years that I've been in charge of the Planning Commission. Nevertheless, last month, with this data center proposal coming up, I suggested to my board and they all discussed it and unanimously approved, that we send a committee to wherever there is another data center so we get the information. Misinformation is a very dangerous thing. I believe in truths, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. We need to know the truth. You know, the developer is going to say wonderful things, and the people that don't want anything are going to say horrible things. I only deal with the truth on the Planning Commission. I know it's going to come to us, and I would like to hear what it's all about and give a fair representation to both sides. If you come in front of my Planning Commission, mine, the Township's Planning Commission, you will be fairly treated on both sides, whether I like or disapprove of what you're saying. And that's basically it. I understand when I came here tonight, I saw on the agenda where there's a committee under Mr. Erler is going to recommend a committee of one person from each committee in the township be on this liaison committee to go and see a data center and see what the ramifications are. I think that's a good idea. I would like to sit because I'm chairman of the Planning Commission. I'm willing to go, but I would like to have the rest of the committees equally represented in this township. And that's basically it. I hope you consider Mr. Erler's recommendation for a committee. And I know there's a lot of people here tonight very, very upset about a data center that they really don't know what it's about yet, but we're going to find out. And when the truth is out, then everybody can decide which side of the coin they're on. Thank you very much for hearing me tonight.
Thank you, Bob. Stephanie Donnelly.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Donnelly. I'm a resident of Upper Mount Bethel Township, and I read the MOU posted on the Township website this afternoon. This community had no meaningful time to review an agreement of this magnitude, and yet we are voting on it tonight. 4 days ago, the United States Secretary of the Interior visited the Talon Energy Power Plant 4 miles from this room to support data center development in this area. This is no longer a local zoning matter. This project has federal attention. Let me express what is and what is not in this MOU. The $50 million discussed publicly is not guaranteed. Section 2.2 states that payment only reaches $50 million if this project achieves 2 gigawatts of computing capacity. To put that number in perspective, 2 gigawatts is enough electricity to power 1.5 million homes. There is no minimum payment in this document, no floor, no guarantee. If this project underperforms, this community gets less or nothing. Section 2.4 contains a quid pro quo from the developer to stop all active litigation against the township. Section 2.5 extends the LRTA tax abatement for an additional 10 years, potentially leaving this community waiting 20 years for full tax revenue while bearing infrastructure costs from day one. Section 2.6 commits the township to vacating Marshfield Drive, a public road handed to a private developer. And Section 3.7, I want to read this directly. Nothing in this MOU shall be construed to create any third-party rights or benefits. The residents of Upper Mount Bethel Township have no legal rights under this agreement. We cannot enforce it. We are written out of our own benefit. Now, let me tell you what neither this MOU nor the developer's own legal filings contain. No cooling method. The validity challenge filed by Slate Belt Holding does not specify how these facilities will be cooled, whether by air, by water, by evaporative towers that consume millions of gallons daily. No cooling method appears in either document. No transmission agreement. The MOU references 2 gigawatts of computing capacity, but neither document contains an interconnection agreement or any confirmation that sufficient power transmission capacity actually exists. The Lehigh Valley Planning Commission specifically recommended requiring this in 2025, and that was ignored. No water limits. Not a single word in either the validity challenge nor this MOU addresses water withdrawal, water source, or daily consumption from the Delaware River. The river that supplies drinking water to 14 million people across 4 states is not mentioned once in either document. This site sits within a 100-year floodplain and adjacent to a federally designated wild and scenic river corridor. Neither document contained a single word addressing either of those facts. This is lofty language and empty promises on the most consequential decision that we're facing. The answer to the challenges facing this community is not to sign a blank check to a corporation that has written us out of our own agreement and left our river completely unprotected. I'm asking the board to vote no to the egregious agreement and protect those you were elected to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And next up is Samantha. No, I'm sorry. Dante, you have your name on public comment. Okay. Samantha Heath.
Hello. So I live right down the road. I grew up actually behind TK's right there.
Excuse me, what is your last name?
Samantha Heath, like the candy bar, Heath. So I live currently 87 South Delaware Drive, technically Bangor, but it's really not. Anyway, I grew up right there, Winter Street, behind the fire hall. Behind my house is state game land. My question to you is, and this is anyone behind me that would like to raise your hand, I am obviously opposing the data centers. Anybody that would like to do it as well to show them how many people are here doing that, now is your time. I would ask, why is there no transparency on this whole project? I would like to ask to pause this project. And on top of it, do we even know the impacts? Do we not understand this is a keystone biome? The marshland here is protected by the state, has been for a very long time, probably before any of us were alive. What are we doing? Why are we taking this? Why are we letting this come into our backyards? And I would like to see the paperwork behind it. Why is everything so not black and white for us if we live here? We'll be living with this and everything that comes from it, whether it be benefits or consequences. And I think there should be no closed doors. Everything should be see-through. So why isn't it? Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Aaron, is it Irving or Irvins? Ivins. Oh, okay. Then I have an Amy. Amy, it looks like Irvins. Is that no? Yeah. And
Yeah, is that?
Rossum is the last name? Oh, come on up. What's the first name?
It's Maya
Oh,
Van
Maya.
Rossum.
Okay, thanks.
I'm the Delaware Riverkeeper, leader of the Delaware Riverkeeper Network, and leader of Green Amendments for the Generations. And I'm here to say that you should not be voting on the MOU that's been put out just a few short hours ago to this community. This is a very lopsided agreement. It's not been subjected to any public participation, public comment, and it really is very clearly negotiating a pathway that's going to end up sacrificing our community, our rivers, our environment, and future generations. The agreement, and it's very difficult because it just came out a few hours ago, but so that while section 3.1 of the agreement says that both parties shall negotiate in good faith, the MOU negates the opportunity for good faith negotiation because many of the most critical items the data center developer wants, they are obliged to receive and you are obliged to give to them. For example, section 2.5 commits the township to, in advance, giving away tax abatements for another 10 years. In any fair negotiation, that's a critical issue that the township holds in terms of some power to actually bring to the table to a negotiation of this kind. You've already given it away to the data center. When we look at section 2.1 of the agreement, it talks about the parties working collaboratively to develop a mutually beneficial zoning ordinance. And then it puts together a list of the items that are going to be included in that ordinance. It uses some wishy-washy language, but as an attorney, I can see very clearly how one would argue that the limited list of items, particularly environmental items that are listed in section 2.1, will be used to tie the hands of the municipality and prevent you from talking about including in your zoning ordinance a number of very critical issues, such as the level of impervious coverage, air pollution, water pollution, the source of the energy that's going to power the data center, which is most likely going to be highly polluting, dirty fossil fuels. It doesn't talk about the cooling method. It doesn't talk about the volume of water or the source of water that's going to be used for that cooling. It doesn't talk about pollution discharges to the waterways. It doesn't talk about the size of buffers for any myriad of reasons or needs that you could have with regards to a data center. So you've got a very limited list of environmental and community items that's going to be addressed, and we can see very clearly how the data center is going to use the language in this document to tie your hands and prevent you from considering this whole wealth of other critical issues. Even when we look at section 2.2, the $50 million bribe, as it's been so accurately characterized as, even though when we look at section 2.2, where we have the benefits agreement doesn't even benefit the community. It's going to be the supervisors that are going to pick a select group of entities and nonprofits that are going to get the money. So if you're a pal of the township, maybe you're going to get some of this money. If you're not, then you're not. But this $50 million is not going to this community. And finally, it is very critical for you to remember that Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, the Pennsylvania Green Amendment, gives to the people of Pennsylvania a constitutional right to pure water, clean air, the natural, scenic, historic, and aesthetic qualities of the environment, and obligates you as a trustee to protect the natural resources of this state for present and future generations. This MOU agreement ties your hands and prevents you from being able to fully, fairly, and transparently fulfill your constitutional obligation to protect the environmental rights of the people, those here today, and all the future generations yet to come.
Yeah.
Can I speak like I wanted to? I think I'm ready now.
Who's that? I'm sorry?
Amy Ivins, can I speak?
Yeah,
I
go
was on
for it.
the- Okay. Okay. So I didn't have much time, obviously, to come
Please
here.
state your name again.
Amy Ivins. To read over this whole thing and now that I have, the biggest thing is water. And I don't know why anybody is smiling right now. Like, this is not a reason to be smiling. Nobody should be happy. Have any of you guys ever gone fly fishing in this creek, in this township? Have you? Have you ever caught a fresh brookie from Pennsylvania in this creek? And you guys are going to tell me that nothing is said in this agreement about water, you of all people, if you've done that? There's not one word in this MOU about water. Where is this water going to come from? Is my question. And what's going to happen when they start using it? Nobody ever has an answer for that. That should have been in this whole agreement.
Well, let me just say, they drafted the MOU and gave it to us, so we haven't.
Yeah, but
wait,
drafted, it doesn't matter.
Just wait. We haven't even responded.
Okay.
So we're not, there could be a vote on the MOU tonight. There doesn't have to be. We could say, hey, there's nothing about water in the MOU. Let's send it back and say, we're going to put stuff in. So this is just the first site we've had at it. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so this is the first time you have seen this too.
You're right.
Okay. So my next question is then why is, if there's stuff in here that says basically that you guys can't do a thing about it once it's signed, correct? About any of it.
If we sign it.
And if you sign it, right. So this shouldn't even be a question. Am I wrong? If you can't
I'm
do
not
anything
saying
after
you
you
are.
sign it, like why would you sign it? That would just be stupid, especially because all these residents that we all pay taxes here. Why should we not have had a say? At least a little bit.
Well, that's what tonight's for. We're just putting it out there. We put it up.
Well, I'm just
But
putting
you
that
make
out.
great
I'm
points.
just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I like to fish in these creeks. I may sound stupid to some of you guys, but I have kids.
I agree
want
with
my
you.
kids to not hear a buzzing every single night. I want my kids to be able to walk around outside. And I've lived in Luzerne County. You know where that is? Where there's another data center. And you people have no idea what happens when one comes. You don't know. So I suggest you do a lot more research before you come here and act like it's no big deal. That's all I'm saying.
Shane, you're up. Thanks.
Shane.
And Shane, spell your last name for the record, please.
Savant, unlike the idiot kind.
It's stand-up comedy night with Shane.
I mean, maybe that's subject to opinion, but, having a sense of humor about yourself is key to happiness in life. Okay, so my name is Shane Savant. I am a resident here in Upper Mount Bethel Stone Church. And so there's been a lot of talk about the water, which, a lot of talk about the water from our point of view, but not so much from your guys' point of view. And it's a huge contingency on the what's coming, which we don't exactly know, but a very simple Google search will yield for you. In fact, the average hyperscale data center uses 5 million gallons of fresh drinking water per day, despite what last week Mr. Paul Taylor right here of Superheat said that I didn't know what I was talking about by saying that data centers, and I quote, and it's on the record, okay? This gentleman right here, Mr. Paul Taylor, said data centers do not use water and they do not make sound. Mr. Paul Taylor, Superheat, right here. You called me out last week, buddy, and this is my turn. Merry Christmas.
Sir, please keep your comments to the board.
Yeah. You can't.
Well, then you tell him that.
No, you just have the public
I understand.
comment.
Okay. In closing, I would like to say that eminent domain is a serious threat. In Georgia right now, over 700 homes have been taken for eminent domain simply for the power lines that are required for these data centers. These data centers are going to be powered by Lower Mount Bethel, correct? Right?
At this time, I would say, yeah, you're right.
I mean, okay, well, that's what was in the validity challenge that I read anyway. Okay, so where are the power lines going? Are they floating them up the river on a barge? Or are they going to cut through people's properties to get to Upper Mount Bethel to supply 2 gigawatts of power? And I promise you, 2 gigawatts of power is not going to be little telephone poles. It's going to be these massive, double-wide electrical structures that are going to cut through people's property, and they're not going to say, oh, we're going to take the scenic route so we don't destroy these people's property. They're going to take your frickin' house like they're doing in West Virginia, Wyoming, Missouri, Georgia, Kentucky, okay? So, yeah, I'm a little passionate right now because with all due respect, and at your own admission, board, you have said out loud, you do not understand exactly what is going on with all these hyperscale data centers. You said this on the record. So with that being said, I personally do not understand how in the world you could even remotely consider for a nanosecond voting in any serious regards for this MOU this evening without knowing exactly what you're voting on. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Stacy Stone, you're up.
So my name is Stacy Stone. I am a Tuscarora Village resident along with 70 other homeowners and a church actually that have wells right along our river. Some of you actually attend the church. And I encourage you to read Genesis 1:28 and Genesis 2:15, a reminder that you are to be good stewards of the earth and of all creatures of the earth. It was said by Supervisor Erler, at least it wasn't going to be built in a more populated area because then more people would be affected. So I guess those of us who are in the area are just casualties, nobodies, and he's admitted that there will be an effect. So now I have a few questions that I'd like to have answered, but I know you guys can't answer it right now. So I will send it to Representative Birmingham to review. But one is, what energy will the site produce itself? Will it be solar, boiler, turbine, etc.? Will chillers or air-cooled or require a water tower? Will it be air chiller, air-cooled, or water tower cooled? Will the cooling system be glycol or water? I have a two-part question. What safeguards are in place for residents concerning a failure scenario? I don't know if you guys are familiar with lithium and lithium runaway. I'd suggest you get familiar with it. Who can we hold accountable if, say, a situation happens? I see 5 supervisors sitting right here. Will you require a licensed staff to operate such a critical utility like they do in Philly and in New Jersey? Are you familiar with what Shane just mentioned, eminent domain? Have any of you engaged, and this is very important, with a special land use council, with a specific expertise and digital infrastructure, high demand procurement, and environmental zoning regulations? In closing, I'd like to say the board would be very wise to get legal support for guidance other than our solicitor on this multi-billion-dollar project. And I urge you to, if you are going to vote on this, to vote no on the MOU. And I would like to ask you to do an immediate enactment for a temporary moratorium on this data center. Take a breath, and seek professional guidance.
Thanks, Stacy. And Stacy, you'll send me your questions, right? Thanks.
Andrew Stone, Mount Bethel. We were talking about the gigawatts of the data center, and then I found out today that not just one, but they would like to get up to 2. I just kind of briefly researched the usage, the water usage of some of these centers that produce 1 gigawatt and the types of cooling that they do use. The first one, traditional evaporative cooling consumes, which means uses up or completely destroys roughly 5 to 14 million gallons of water every single day, operating at 1 gigawatt. Amounts of 2 to 5 billion per year. That's a pretty big number. At 0.47 gallons per kilowatt hour, a 1 gigawatt load evaporates about 470,000 gallons a single day. One day. That's a hell of a lot of water. Sorry. Let me correct myself. I got ahead of myself. That's per hour, 470 per hour, which accumulates to 11.2 million gallons a day. Evaporative is the highest consumer of water resources. Closed loop chilled water, liquid coolant or cold water flows past hot components to absorb heat. It uses less water, but creates a higher energy demand. So basically, it's not sucking the water up at the direct site. It's the indirect aspect, meaning that it comes from the energy plants. The power comes from energy plants that consume water. Martins Creek, permitted by the DRBC to use 26.2 million a day, which is up to 785 million gallons a year. So more energy produced by the plant, going to use more water. Although it's not using it at the data center, it's an indirect resource usage. Air-cooled, no direct water usage. Less energy efficient than the previous two. Okay, still uses the water, but indirectly through the power plant as distribution of power increases to meet the needs. The river, our lovely river. Pulling more water out of the river. Geez, I talked too long, Nick. Pulling more water out of the river will have many negative effects. Water level drops, water temp increases, slow moving water, more rocks exposed, more riverbank exposed, creates more heat in the water. Water temperatures go up, right? I'll wrap it up. Water warms up, okay? Leads to increases in aquatic species body temperature, respiration, metabolism. They need more oxygen. Okay? Less oxygen for aquatic species after the water warms up. Increased plant and weed growth during daylight hours, photosynthesis. Then at night, the plants and algae and bacteria consume the oxygen from the water table, use it up. When weeds and algae die off, bacteria feed on dead plant tissues, in turn sucking up most of the dissolved oxygen, creating depleted zones that kill fish and other organisms. Basically, the river's screwed because once the fish start dying off, you have species of animals, eagles, osprey, kingfishers that feed on these fish. Less fish, less food, and it's just a snowball effect.
Thanks. We can take your notes if you didn't get the stuff you want us to look at. Fred Clark. Fred, there you are.
Get this out of the way. Good evening. Fred Clark, Crystal Terrace, Upper Mount Bethel. I would again like to offer my position on a data center at the former Portland property. Location, location, location. In the 1950s, during the great post-war economic expansion, Metropolitan Edison chose this site because it offered abundant river water for cooling, rail access for coal, and room for a major generating station and transmission switching yard. They sized it for up to 1,000 megawatts. A rail spur and gas line were later added. For nearly 60 years, the plant powered local jobs and tax revenue. We are now in the next great wave of American economic growth, driven by artificial intelligence and advanced computing. This site gives Upper Mount Bethel a rare opportunity to participate in it. This is the most valuable and essentially the only major developable industrial property left in our township. I recognize that much of the surrounding acreage has been farmland for generations, and many residents, including me, value that character. At the same time, the property is zoned industrial. The developer has a legal right to convert it to industrial use. The practical question before us is not whether value will be extracted from this land, but which industrial use will extract it, and which one delivers the strongest long-term tax base with the least daily disruption to our community. A data center is one of the higher value options available under current zoning. The core of the site is a long-established brownfield that already hosts transmission infrastructure. Higher value fixed investments produces more durable tax revenue for the township and the school district and makes it harder for a company to walk away. Whether it will not create as many direct jobs as some other industrial uses might, the stable tax base it generates often supports more lasting public and educational employments over time with far less daily traffic, noise, and strain on local services. I share concerns about the visual impact of large buildings along the Delaware. Strong setbacks, landscaping, and architectural screening can and should be required. I also share concerns about water and noise. Even modern closed-loop and air-cooled systems can involve some water use and chemical discharge that must be strictly controlled. Any project must face rigorous independent study, hard volume limits, proper treatment of any blowdown, ongoing monitoring, and full regulatory oversight. Having lived near and vigorously opposed the earlier proposal to use an adjacent field for wastewater disposal, my support is contingent on two conditions: no expansion of the data center beyond the existing industrial footprint under discussion, and a binding prohibition on using the field for disposal of any treated waste. I ask the board to recognize the unique advantages of this industrial property, to reject lower value alternatives, and to approve a data center only with the strongest possible conditions on design, screening, noise, water volume, discharge, monitoring, along with meaningful and enforceable community benefit agreement that delivers real lasting value to the township. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Finan.
Hello, Christopher Finan, Chief of Mount Bethel Fire Company. Take it a different direction again. As everybody knows, we had a significant storm that rolled through on Friday. I want to give a shout out to the road crew. Shout out to Mount Bethel Fire Company, North Bangor Fire Company, and our mutual aid agencies. I was at work, so within a few short hours, there was about 10 calls, and it was handled by all the members and the road crew also.
And what were those calls? What did they deal with?
Trees down, some MVAs, stuff like that. You know, the normal nonsense, wires down, normal nonsense stuff we get during storms. But you know, I really think our road crew is just as important as emergency services in this township, and a lot of people don't remember that, or I feel forget that. But without them, we wouldn't be able to get to where we need to go as commuting to work, or the emergency services wouldn't be able to get to the call without their help. So thank you, Nick. Thank you to our road crew, and thank you to our volunteer firefighters. And everybody, just so everybody knows, everybody is a volunteer from myself down, same as North Bangor. So there's nobody paid in the fire companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Paul, you're up, Paul.
Paul Taylor, Turkey Ridge Road. You guys are in a tough spot, but what I hear tonight about this agreement that's in front of you, it does not sound like it's a great deal for the township. Obviously, I am not saying that you should sign that agreement and go for it. I really do think we do need to evaluate what else we could possibly put there. I do still think that the data center is going to be the less intrusive for the environment compared to other industrial sites that we could have. Truck traffic, water usage, more chemicals. It could get a lot worse, in my opinion, than a data center. But again, please, we got to do our homework. We do need to do the research on it. The power usage, yes, they're probably going to put a power plant on site, I would guess, not just depending on Lower Mount Bethel. Again, is that power plant going to be water cooled, air cooled? How are they going to address it? That is all going to be very strictly enforced by the EPA. That's what those guys are there for, that have a lot more experience than this board right here. Those rules and regulations are much tougher than anybody can even imagine in this room. When they built Saddle Creek, we lost 2 wells on our properties. So any development is going to be ugly. Whether you turn that into houses, you turn that into industrial, you turn it into a prison or a water park, it's going to be ugly for this township no matter what they do. So if somebody has a better idea, the only other idea is, you guys have the Clean and Green Act where you buy the property, raise our taxes and buy the property and keep it absolutely the way it is. That's another option for you. But I hear a lot of people that don't want the data center. What else should we do is what you guys should be asking, because there's a lot of people saying don't do this, but what do anybody have any suggestions about what we should do? And how can we lower our taxes? I've been on these meetings where you guys are doing the budget and everybody's trying not to raise the taxes because people can't afford it. So what else can we do to have tax revenue for the township and do it reasonably so that some of the elderly people can stay? And, some of these people are, even the garbage tax was enough to kill them. Anything that doesn't take all our water.
Hey, no comments. Come on, guys. Go ahead. Finish
That's
up.
all I got. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Paul. David Beck. He's coming.
Who? Dave Beck, relation?
My name is David Beck. I'm a resident of Upper Mount Bethel Township. I've been for a pretty long time. I didn't know I signed up to speak, but I'll speak anyway. Talking about economic growth, what should we do with this property? I think the evidence is out there. We have examples in the township, small to medium-sized manufacturing. I think this is the optimum choice. These companies are they're clean for the most part, to my knowledge. They are. They create wealth. They're manufacturing something. They are good neighbors. I think this is the route we should go on. We should stay on this route. And a lot of people in the township, I tend to think, are employed by these companies. But again, they create wealth. Manufacturing creates wealth. And they're clean companies. I don't think there should be a rush. I think we can be very selective with what we want in there. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Great, Dave. Thank you. Marie Perkowski, if I got that right.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I just want to say that I'm very disappointed in this council right here. I think that you all violated the Sunshine Act, the Constitution of Pennsylvania, Article 27, and the MPC for disclosure. So there was things done out of the public's eye, which was your fiduciary duty to do, and you didn't do it for 8 months. So once somebody submitted a request for public records, it came out into the light. So my main concern is our water, and I request that the board decline to advance the pending data center ordinances because they are not in effect, considering that it didn't happen in the light, and that's part of the Sunshine Act. The solicitor to independently assess what the process described in the sources complies with the Sunshine Act notice requirements. So basically, you didn't follow the law. That's your problem. So I also want you to formally coordinate with the River Basin Commission for any regional water supply, because we also supply New Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York. and we have a combined aquifer with them. So it's important to consider then when you make this big decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl Hines.
What's that name, John?
Cheryl Hines.
Thank you for giving me time to address the board. I've been a proud resident of this community since 1994 and taxpayer of this beautiful, beautiful community. I'm going to take a walk down. We're all here to oppose a data center. Maybe a few of us aren't, but we are. I'm going to go back to the history of the township a little bit and how much they respected the people and the land and the water and the sound. Years ago, a tiny little business wanted to open up an outside track for stock cars, and the township opposed and they fought it. The township felt that it was going to go to midnight. Too much noise disruption for the township, too much light pollution for the township. This was a little business. Then years later, because this plot of land has always been a problem, a 2,800 bed, if I recall correctly, ICE detention center wanted to come here. And I don't know who lived here at this time, but the township was in an uproar. And the board felt that it was going to create a problem for the schools. It was going to create road traffic. It was going to create a general problem for the community itself. So the town's people hired attorneys and we fought it. And at that time, there was not an economic development board. So the township felt that perhaps an economic development committee should be formed so that intelligent development would be brought into this community, respecting the people and the land and the water and everything else. I was on that original economic development committee. I was part of those people that fought all of that. So we found that, and it started so we wouldn't be here today. And here we are. So what kind of discussions are being had other than they're waving money in front of our face and money speaks? But I was proud of this township also because they formed a fund that we all pay out of every year in our taxes to create open space and parks and preserve our land. And here we are. And I just want to know what happened to the soul of this community.
Cindy, you have the email from the one resident that, Pam was the name or something? We have to read that one into record. Yeah. No, Cindy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you had to sign, but come on up. Go ahead. I haven't said no to anyone. Okay.
This is Brian Shippers. I live 3462 River Road, about 1.7 miles downstream from the future site of whatever's going on. I got to apologize to my neighbors, to my fellow residents. I've been really naive, blindfolded, probably trustworthy of people that I really don't know. And I shame myself now for that. And I apologize to my local residents. But I figured I'd start getting involved because I need to know what's going on, especially from where I'm at. And just for the environment of itself here. That's the reason why I'm here. When I came here tonight and I heard that this MOB or whatever you want to call it came out, whether you guys are for, and so something's going in. We all know, we're not that naive. Something's going in. Whether it's a data center, whether it's a plant, whether it's distribution. whether you guys are for us or against us and wanted to gain a little bit of our confidence or our support, I would have expected you guys to say by now already, hey, we got this. There's no way as a competent person we could vote on this at this time. That's all I was looking for, and I hope I'm going to get that answer within the next half hour because I really got other things. I'm in the sales industry. I know there's negotiations. If you guys are caught with your pants down, file an agenda or whatever it needs to get delayed or whatever. And I know there's got to be something that you can do, but that's what I was expecting to hear from you. I put my trust in you, and I'm going to take more attention because I got to now see really what's going on because I think I've been blinded. And I apologize, like I said, to my local residents.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Start right there.
I wasn't planning on speaking, but I've been really inspired by my community. My name is Allison Wright, and I know you guys don't know me, but just some background. I'll be honest with you. I was born and raised here, and I hated it. I hated living here. I was depressed. I was miserable. And the only place that I really found solace was in our freshwater community, like our freshwater environments. So I grew up to become a biologist and prioritize those ecosystems. And then what I did was I fulfilled my dream of getting the heck out of here. And I moved to a big city and took on a big job and lived there with my husband for years. And now I'm back because I love it here. And I love it here because of not only our people, our ecosystems, and what we have to protect. What I heard today was that you guys were given a plan hours ago and now we're voting on it. I know I have a job now where I make decisions that impact thousands of people. And quite frankly, I can't imagine trying to make a vote on something that I saw hours ago. And so my ask is to really think about your value as stewards. What are you guys building for tomorrow? What do you want in 10 years, 20 years to be able to look at your, I don't have kids. I don't like kids. Kids, no, but you want to know something? I don't have kids, but I care about kids and I care about our future. And I'm willing to stand up here for any of our kids and say they deserve to stomp in the creeks and they deserve fresh drinking water. And they deserve to know what some of the most iconic species in this area are that we know will suffer. And they deserve to know that their board is going to make the best decisions for the best future for this community. I'm not saying we don't do anything. We had some great suggestions here today. Ecotourism, small to medium-sized manufacturing, investing in our downtown. There is so much potential. And I have to really echo what was said before. What changed? The money? Because we really need to get back to what our future looks like. And I just want to bring us back to being a steward of our community, of our future, and what our tomorrow looks like. I hope you guys take nights to sleep on before making a decision. Don't vote on, I'm asking you, I'm imploring you, please do not decide on it today. Please take a moment to go to bed, sleep on it multiple nights, because that is what it takes to be a good steward, is to really think about the future of tomorrow and what we are building. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Good evening, Megan Taylor. I live at 31 Route 46 in Knowlton. I'll be very brief. I know I don't vote here, but I just wanted to speak very quickly because our property is approximately 3,000 feet, give or take, from the closest data center building. And the tax benefits from this proposal will stop at the state line, but the environmental effects and the noise effects won't. And I just wanted to let you know that there are people in New Jersey who are paying attention to what's going on, and we support our friends across the river in opposition to the data center.
Thank you.
Charles Baltic speaking as a resident. I wanted to actually address item
10.1 on the agenda, which is the Portland Borough Authority Intergovernmental Agreement. This Board of Supervisors will recall that early in the year, we had a pretty extensive discussion about the budget, which included $130,000 for a police department, which we don't have, but which you were planning. And you're going to hire a police chief. You, Mr. Birmingham, when I made the request at several meetings, indicated that the Board of Supervisors would hold a single topic town meeting on a police force. That has not yet happened. I hope that does happen.
Okay.
But before you grant police powers to Portland to come into Upper Mount Bethel and exercise those police powers on Upper Mount Bethel property, you should defer to that process, which you said you would abide by, which is getting township input on the exercise of police powers in this township. Whether people are for it or against it, you should not grant police powers to the Portland Police to come into Upper Mount Bethel with this issue of whether Upper Mount Bethel has its own police force and hires a chief of police hanging over its head. That would be a pretty egregious violation of common sense and appropriate procedure by the Board of Supervisors.
Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Pepe. I live on Gallery Lane in Mount Bethel. I'm a transplant, but I actually grew up on 50-some acres in Ohio, so I'm a country girl at heart. We moved here from New Jersey about 12 years ago and love it here because it's peaceful, it's quiet, there's lots of wildlife, there's farms. It's such a beautiful community. And it breaks my heart to think that it will be spoiled by a data center. I know that you, Mr. Birmingham, know that I've been doing a lot of research on these data centers. I'm consumed. I have read so many negative things. I don't read anything positive. I don't know if people here who have farms realize that in Texas, a farmer who is raising cattle had a data center built near his property. And since that data center opened, every single calf that was born is stillborn. So what does that say about data centers? They can't all be so different that the impact would be not happening here. It's scary. But the real reason I came up here is I want to say that you guys are wonderful. You do so many things for the community. You give so much time of yourselves. I think we all realize that. But the other thing is we elected you to represent us. And there are a lot of people in this room tonight that are clearly opposed to a data center. And I think you have to respect the will of the people. If this isn't enough people opposing it, I'm pretty sure we could get a lot more people to come out and fight against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Now you've already had public comment. I have to give it to other people. Marty.
Marty Pinner, Lindsay Lane, Mount Bethel. And it feels so much better to be on this side of the desk. Really does, because, man, it just does feel better. Couple of things. And what I want to say is that, the developer can build whatever the hell he wants there. He can. He owns the property. He can build warehouses. He could build manufacturing. He could build a data center. That's his choice. He's paid for the property. He can also turn around and say, what's in the MOU of $50 million, you guys can go screw yourself. I'm going to take the $50 million back, and you're still going to get a data center or you're going to get manufacturing, or you're going to get warehouses. So this is what I want. Really what I'm trying to say is, guys, this isn't single A ball anymore. You guys are in the major leagues, and you guys are going to be negotiating with people that absolutely know what the hell they're doing. Okay? Now, sure, let's raise the taxes. We're at 8.2 mils now. I figure 8.5 mils now. I figured it should probably take 4,000 mils to come up with $750 million to buy that land back from them if they wanted to sell it. And then we can keep it the way it is. Okay? What a lot of the people here probably don't know is the power plant. I don't remember all of the people here bitching about the power plant when they were taking 1 million gallons a day out of the river and putting it back in as it was hotter than what they took. Okay. I don't remember the people from New Jersey giving a shit about the people that we employed at the power plant before they had it shut down, which created the issue that we have now in saying now it's a brown field, now it's got to get cleaned up and everything else. Okay. So something's going to go there. You guys have to be smart on exactly how much benefit this town is going to get. Put the prison back in. Crime's not real big around a prison. Nobody hangs out around them. Okay? It's fine. Don't put housing up. I remember Marshfield when I came here. People were bitching, can't do that. That's our industrial land. We don't want to overpopulate the schools with that. Look at the school money that's going to come out of this. You're talking probably $10 to $11 million for the school board. That's probably their budget now. They will double their school budget, or they could say, you know what? They'll pay for it all. And that's it. One thing, I did have a article here from the School of Policy and Government from George Mason that shows the closer you live to a data center, your property values go up. And this is taking, okay. This is from George Mason, data centers for that. And I love how, and John, I love how that when somebody is against the warehouse, they have as much time as they want up here. And these people are bitching about running over when somebody's for it. So.
All right. Yeah, come on.
Sorry guys, we're back. Hi, my name is Melissa Wagner. I live in Bangor. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I do what I do. So I work in social work, and a lot of the reason why I do that is because my clients can't really, some of them can't really speak up for themselves, right? And I try to advocate for them and give them a voice and help them speak for themselves. And I love my work, right? The environment's another thing that can't really do that. Like, the environment can't speak for itself. It doesn't have this voice where it's going to stand up for you. Like, a butterfly is not going to be like, no. Like, a bee isn't going to, the animals, all the deer, the fish, the water, it's not going to fight you. So as you're thinking through your decisions, I just really hope you take the time to recognize that, because a lot of things, when you're bulldozing over things that can't stick up to yourself, that to me is like bully mentality. People who are climbing on top of things that can't fight back, bully. Anybody who's ever been mean to my clients that maybe can't speak for themselves is mean. It's just not the right thing, right? And as my shirt says, I think the planet should be more important than profit. I have a shit ton of money, right? That is not what makes you happy. That I also just beg you to just think, what am I going to do with this money that me and all my friends get? Like, I've been on yachts in Sardinia. I've been to 40 countries. I've been in every state. Like, I know wealth, and I hope you take the time to think, what am I going to do with this money? Is it worth bulldozing over the environment? Another thing I suggest you do is to go ground. Take your shoes off maybe you do this. I don't know any of you, but just like take your shoes off, go walk in the grass, go forest bathe, go swim in the river naked. Like it's going to change your life if you don't already do it. And I don't know. I just hope you like take the time to recognize that the environment is more important than money. I've proven it. I've delved in both, right? Okay, hold on. There's a couple more things. It's just out of my pocket here. I don't have pockets, but doing your research as you make these, you know, the numbers, whatever, but like do the research. I don't know. That makes sense to me. And then also, I can see into people's souls, so I'm not like too close to you guys. Definitely you guys are questionable with the suits, but everybody else, I can't really see, it's because you're not making eye contact out here, nothing personal. But everybody else, you seem like you have good souls, and like, I respect that and everything, but like, I really just hope you do the right thing. 3 minutes.
All right. Okay, Nick, why don't you read that email?
Hey everybody, Chris Chiaffi, Camp Charles Campground in the township here, new owner. Many don't know this, but we actually already had a drought this year. As a business that actually cares about this area, we limited our water usage and restricted campers from power washing. Will a data center do that? Now we have a lot of water from all this rain, maybe too much, but our wells just ran dirty, one of them, and now I'm drinking bottled water, and we'll fix that, but I'd hate for anybody to experience that. And if we have a data center here, what's the risk of them causing that? Data centers can exist in our world, but it's not our job as a community to figure out how to make data centers use less water or keep our water clean. That's their job. It's our job to protect our drinking water from our wells going dry and from pollution of our drinking water. Right now, as a community, we don't feel protected. We're way out of our league negotiating with such a big player. The people who stand to benefit the most from this don't even live here and won't be drinking our water.
Thank you. All right. Did everybody get a shot to speak? Okay. What, do you want to go? No, I mean, if you're making a public comment, you have to make the public comment. If something about the MOU comes up and you have a question, I'll try and entertain it. If you hear us talking about the MOU, but if you're going to make a public comment about data centers or whatever, you have to make it now, Ron. You can ask questions about the MOU during our discussion. No, I'll let you go now. Okay.
I don't.
It was very interesting to hear what Mr. Pinter said. A lot of very good points. I was a young child when they opened the power plant down there, and I remember I got a little plug-in light that I put in my bedroom. It was there for years. But the situation here tonight, and I think there's probably nobody, I've said it before, in the room who's attended more public meetings than I, so I know a little bit about local government, a little bit about the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code and a number of other things. As of right now, the only thing, and I'm sure these people want what they believe is justice, I don't believe it's obtainable at this point in time for obvious reasons, which you people up front know. There is zoning, there is a Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code, and that was zoned industrial. And it originally was going to be warehousing, truck traffic, people didn't want it. Then it was going to be Amazon, now it's going to be data centers. And I think Mr. Barbonas explained at a previous meeting so wonderfully about data centers of today versus 2 years ago. But the issue tonight is when you're saying about the MOU, that's about all that is left that you have at your disposal involving this whole thing. because the opportunities that could have been taken a year ago or 6 months ago weren't taken because you didn't listen to some of the people here, and you didn't listen to me, by the way. I suggested a committee of our citizens be doing a negotiation because we had a lot of ability to do that. But as of right now, Talon, New York Stock Exchange Company, and the Pectors have Slate Belt Holdings. And before you is a proposal for a data center. The zoning officer very clearly has said that is a permitted thing in that district. So now you are negotiating what I call the benefit package. You can call it the MOU or call it whatever you choose to call it. And that benefit package could be very interesting for the future of this township if it was handled properly. Those who believe there's going to be a $50 million check, I got one in the mail. It's coming from some guy, a telemarketer in California, so I can give you mine for $50 million if you're looking for one. There is no $50 million check. It's $5 million when this is done, $5 million when that is done. And when those things are done, you will get the money. Again, it's a New York Stock Exchange Company. You're going to have documents before you. But for the people, and I don't mean to be harsh with you, but your data have been here.
Hey, Ron, you got to talk up this way.
It was a couple of years ago. It's past that now. There's nothing that can be done at this point in time. You can't have a moratorium. You can't put it on the ballot. You can't do any of those things. What's before you at this point in the game, and I was here from every one of these meetings, unlike most people out here. A lot of us were here. Stavros is here. Marty's here. Different people are always here at these meetings. What could have been done can no longer be done. So now the question, that's why I wanted to wait to after the MOU, how the MOU is handled and what you do with that MOU. Because keep in mind, Talent Energy, a New York Stock Exchange Company, if you piss them off, and I'm a blunt kind of guy, they can tell you the hell with your $5 million at $5 million in a clip. We have our rights to be there. We want to work with you, but if you don't want to work with us, okay, no problem. We're coming. That's the facts that's before you tonight. That is the real facts that are before you. Would you agree, Mr. Birmingham? There is nothing else you can do other than that.
No. We can do certain things.
I didn't hear what you said.
We can do certain things.
What could you do?
Well, I'm not getting into a debate with you tonight,
that's why I
Ron.
wanted after the MOU, because I can tell you what two of these will do. They'll do the
Okay,
reverse
Ron,
vote. They're gonna vote to-
your
two
three-
up there in the middle are going to vote
your
for something
3
else.
minutes are up,
Three
Ron.
will vote to do the MOU the right way. And that's the government you have here right now. One of them was an ethics violator. One of them said he quit. He never quit.
Stavros. Ron, come on. Okay. Nick, go ahead and read the email.
Okay, everybody. This was sent to us to the Board of Supervisors from Pamela Donatelli. A formal letter of objections to the MOU and validity challenge. It's addressed to all the board members, our solicitor, and the township secretary. Due to my absence from the August 10, 2026 meeting, I am submitting this statement in writing. Please enter this document in its entirety in the official meetings minutes as a formal public record regarding tonight's agenda items. I am writing as a resident, property owner, and taxpayer of Upper Mount Bethel Township to submit my formal objection to the Memorandum of Understanding MOU. The substantive validity challenge and the proposed 23 building data center campus filed by Slate Belt Holdings, a partnership of Talent Energy and Riverpoint Logistics, if you didn't know, LLC. The developer is attempting to force a sweeping site-specific zoning overhaul across 754 acres of land without providing any of the critical technical details or impact data required for public review. I object to the legal acceptance and advancement of this proposal on the grounds of severe informative deficiency and failure to satisfy basic Pennsylvania municipalities planning code MPC's standards of proof, especially due to the following omissions. Premature negotiation of a data center memorandum of understanding. The inclusion of a data center on the Board of Supervisors August 10th, 2026 agenda is highly premature and legally hazardous to Upper Mount Bethel Township entering to a memorandum of agreement while the developer's substantive validity challenge is actively pending undermines the township's regulatory authority. It grants the developer a procedural foothold without requiring them to first satisfy basic transparency mandates, such as submitting engineering site plans, water consumption data, and grid impact studies. The board must table or deny the MOU to preserve its full legislative leverage and protect the residents' due process. Complete absence of blueprints and site plans. The developer has failed to submit any engineering, building blueprints, structural elevations, or site layouts pursuant to MPC Section 916.1. A substantive validity challenge requires a developer to provide plans and explanatory materials that are sufficiently detailed to allow the township to evaluate the proposal use. A basic boundary sketch plan is legally insufficient to evaluate the height, density, and physical footprint of massive industrial project of this scale under UMBT zoning ordinance section 350-40. Total lack of environmental impact studies on critical wetlands and habitats. Despite proposing a massive 23-building industrial complex that directly intersects and surrounds crucial local wetlands, the developer has provided zero environmental impact or baseline ecological studies tailored to this application. Relying on impact studies from the applicant's prior development attempt could be disastrous to our community. A data center campus poses drastically different ecological threats than a warehouse layout, specifically regarding massive continuous water consumption, severe thermal pollution, risk to local waterways, localized heat island effects, and industrial noise or diesel emissions from massive backup generators testing arrays. The emission fails to satisfy the public health, safety, and welfare standards mandated by MPC Section 604 and Section 916.1A5, and directly violates the township's obligations as a trustee of our natural resources under Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania Constitution. No water consumption or grid load modeling. The filing completely omits independent hydrological data or utility consumption modeling. The township and its residents have been denied critical information regarding the daily millions of gallons water required for industrial cooling infrastructure, creating a direct conflict with the environmental protection mandates established under Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, which guarantees residents the right to clean air and the preservation of natural resources. Ensure balanced representation of the Data Center Committee. I request that the board ensures balanced representation on the Data Center Committee. If a committee is formed tonight, its job is to protect our community, not declare a path for massive building projects. True oversight requires rigorous evaluation, which is why this committee should include independent environmental experts, hydrological engineers, and local residents from the directly impacted neighborhoods. The inclusion of at least one resident from Upper Mount Bethel, Lower Mount Bethel, Portland, and Belvedere, New Jersey is requested to help protect our shared water table, environmental land, homes, livelihood, and community future. While Pennsylvania land use permits a developer to initiate a validity challenge using conceptual layouts, the Board of Supervisors should not voluntarily grant a procedural foothold via an MOU. While the developer withholds engineering blueprints, water utility impacts, and environmental studies necessary to evaluate public health, safety, and welfare. Furthermore, the board must recognize the developer's simultaneously filing of a substantive validity challenges a transparent attempt to manipulate the legal system, exploit regulatory gaps, and force this township into a premature agreement. Signing a memorandum of understanding under these conditions rewards this manipulation, abdicates your legislative authority, and deprives residents of due process. I formally request that the Board of Supervisors does not accept the MOU and that the zoning hearing board rejects the validity challenge on its face value due to these extremely critical omissions. respectively submitted Pamela Donatelli. Is that for me?
Oh, I applaud Nick for reading that entire thing during the hot weather. Anyone else? Okay.
Excuse me. My name is Robert Dunning. I live on Lake Lindsay Drive. We own a sheep farm. We have been sheep farming for over 30 years at this location. Our livelihood relies on our groundwater well. Without a groundwater well that can provide water for our farm, we will not be able to maintain our livelihood. I agree with all the wonderful things that have been said and intelligent things that have been said during this meeting, primarily about gaining more information and bargaining with these people to find out whether they can provide a situation which is beneficial for not just the farmers in this community, and there are fewer and fewer, but for everybody else in this community. So I would ask that respectfully, that the board do its research with whatever they decide to do with this location and do something that will not infringe on the public welfare or the livelihoods of the folks who live in this township. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Judy.
Oh, don't sound so discouraged. Judy Henkel, 1752 Robin Hood Road. My family has lived here a long, long time. And I'm the environment. Oh my God, Melissa, I love you. If I was 40 years younger, I wish I had the passion to come up here and say and do what she said. Not sure about swimming in the nude though, but whatever. I'm too conservative for that. I just want to say, to follow up, and I wasn't going to say anything, but all of these people have researched and they come from different backgrounds and they have so much information that I think they need to be listened to. This is the first time we've had this amount of really good information and people willing to stick to their guns. I know, and I look at this, and I agree with someone who talked about Secretary Bergman coming down to Lower Mount Bethel, and the interview he gave was, we need data centers for artificial development, we need them for warehouses, blah, blah, blah. It's really good. When asked the question, what about in Upper Mount Bethel, the 700 acres and the buildings, he didn't know anything about it. So this is all, and this is what I'm coming to. This is all about power and money bullying us little guys. And I know you're in a tough spot. And there's a lot of things that, yes, maybe we can't do because of the municipality planning code. But you know what? These people, we are all going to just keep going and we're going to not give up. We'll die giving up. You know, we're not. We're not going to do it. And we want to just give you all the courage and the power to stick with us and do what you want. If we're going to have a data center, my God, it better be the best one out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Did everybody get a chance to speak who wanted to speak? Okay, go ahead. You're last.
Hi, everybody. My name is Aaron Ivins, and I'm from Mount Bethel. I don't have my phone. I had all my notes on it. That's why I was going to speak and then I changed my mind, but now I'm back up here. My concern is mostly, I didn't know that they were putting something in no matter what. I did not know that. But the data center, if you look around the country where they already have them, like if you look at the Missouri River, it's all dried up. It's almost gone. That's a pretty big deal. Now imagine that here. The water is the big deal. That's the biggest thing I'm concerned about. We all need water. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone who provided public comment, and thank you all for coming out. We're going to move on to announcements. So Supervisor Erler.
Well, I'd like to say that we did have that nasty storm, and I would like to reiterate that we are very appreciative of our road crew and our fire department for clearing the roads. I know that there was a lot of washout, and I'm happy that the majority of people stayed safe and let them do their work. Also, last week, one of our road crew members were hit on the road while they were in a tractor. They went to the hospital. They are okay, but we are down a mowing tractor. The arm broke, and that will need to be replaced or repaired in the future. So just giving everyone a heads up on that. And that's all I have.
Supervisor Ekman.
Nothing at this time.
Supervisor Albert.
Nothing at this time.
Supervisor Friedman.
Yes, Carl Engineering has drawn up the data center ordinance. It's been posted on the supervisor's website, so we can take a look at it and come up with any comments we feel are pertinent to it. I'd like to have that data center ordinance posted on the website so the public can take a look at it and have their input.
I'm sorry, what did you want to put on the website?
Posted on the website.
I said I want it posted on.
So you want us to put that on?
That's
What do you want to put
the
on?
data center ordinance that Carol Engineering came up with.
Oh,
Yep.
Justin's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he works for Carol.
Yeah, I always,
I
don't talk to Carol Engineer, I talk to Justin.
All right, that Justin came up with. So that way the public can have a look at the ordinance and see what we came up with. And then we can have input, and I'm sure Talon will want to look at it and they can have their input. And, maybe we can find a happy medium. So my request is that we put the data center and it's on the website.
Okay. All right, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Just a couple of things. I want to thank Nick and Supervisor Friedman for attending the retirement of the colors ceremony for the American Legion puts on every year. So they had it this Sunday, and Nick and David cooked hamburgers and hot dogs, and yeah, I had a hamburger and a hot dog. It was pretty darn good. So good job, guys.
We got the hockey pucks.
But it's a great event that the American Legion puts on every year, and it's a great way to go and lend support and thank our veterans for all that they've done for us. Thanks. This Saturday, we're going to have the Upper Mount Bethel Township Cleanup Day. So if anybody wants to come and help us clean up trash, we're going to meet here at the Township Building this Saturday, the 15th at 9 a.m. We've got Nick and Little Nick?
Little Nick.
Nick and Little Nick are going to be working the township vehicles to make sure everybody's safe, that traffic is stopped when we're out picking up trash on the street. And we're going to do Riverton Road, I think is where we're going, because there's a bunch of trash up there. It's only a couple of hours. And sometimes we get done even sooner. So I know, David, we did Allegheny one year, and I think it took us an hour. And we
Just the two of us.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to come and help out, just get in touch with me if you need more details. But we'll meet here at the Township Building at 9 a.m., and then we'll caravan over to some park by Riverton Road. David and I are going to be holding office hours here at the Township Building. It'll be Wednesday, August 26th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So if you have any questions, whether it's about data centers or you have ideas or concerns on how to better our township, come on down, and we'll be there to answer any questions. Yeah, I did. September 11th, we're going to do the 9/11 tribute that we do every year. It'll be at the Mount Bethel Firehouse on 9/11, and it'll be at 6 p.m. So come on out. Pastor Dan from Mount Bethel Church comes and says a prayer. We have speeches, and then we have two lovely young ladies who have beautiful voices will come and sing a couple patriotic songs, and it's a way to pay respect to those we lost on 9/11. Oh, and just one other thing about the emergency shelter going on at the Mount Bethel Firehouse. It's turning out that we're getting a lot of bids, so that's good news. We've gotten, Chief, we have about, I think, 5 or 6 general contractors, and then for the prime areas, we've got, I think, 1 or 2 for each. So we're really making good progress on that. So that we will be breaking ground sometime this year. And that's it. Nick, any announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I know I have a long list, but a lot of you spoke about it, so I'm not going to delete that, so I don't have to repeat myself. But I do want to say, I just have to say it again, because we had a really busy week with one of our guys getting hit and the really bad weather that we had this past weekend. We have the best volunteer fire departments, and the guys are awesome. So give them a hand. I know, and Jimmy Potter and Chief Finan, they do a great job. We couldn't do it without them. You know, we work in tandem with them, with our equipment, with them, and it's really great to see that we're all in it together. And that's what this community is all about. Just like all you guys coming out and voicing your opinion, that's what democracy is all about as a republic. Gap View, again, just to let everybody know, we're going to be having the Gap View 5K race. You could sign online. You just go to our website. It's on the first page. You can't miss it. And you could use the QR code to direct you to it. It's a good community benefit to the Park and Rec. We're trying to get a gazebo for the park to offset the cost of it. We're talking a lot about a lot of things in our community. A lot of people DM our Upper Mount Bethel website. It's usually me that's answering you. So if you have a lot of people have questions, and I've actually asked people if they wanted to. I text people and ask them if they have any questions. I can give you answers, because a lot of things that were said tonight need to be corrected, and I'd be more than happy to correct you in a DM message. And there's a lot of people that go on, and there was one guy, I think his name James Brown, not the singer, but he had a lot of good questions, that need to be answered. They need to be answered, and you're entitled to those answers. The 50 million that we're all talking about and everything, it's not a random number. The MOU just means that we agreed to 50 for a 2 gig, but there's other money involved in that, and there's a system of it to be spread out. No, we're not going to get a check for $50 million, but we're not going to negotiate in public about what that money is, but it is for the community. Someone made a comment about nonprofits. The township is a nonprofit. I'll just leave it like that. Anyway, I just wanted to say one more thing about our trash. I know everybody has got is happy that we're paying $200 less. We're the only community in Northampton County that went down, and substantially. I know you get what you pay for, right? And myself, I've never had a problem with them, but it seems like it's centrally located in certain areas that seem to always having problems. I don't know why. We're trying to work on it. Cindy and I are always on the phone with them. Believe me, we're trying to get the best service out of them as possible. But in the thick of things, we're really going cuckoo over garbage. I think there's other issues, obviously, like what we're talking about right now, that are more important. Your garbage will get picked up. If it takes 2 days to get it, we apologize. We're saving money for the community, and I think that's a benefit. But one other thing too, I just want to reemphasize, when you want to do something for bulk, it's always the opposite Friday of the week of recycling. Call us or call the number that's posted on the website, and I'll repeat it to you again here, 484-273-3940, 484-273-3940. Do not use the number that's on the flyer. That's incorrect. We're into August, and I know some people don't listen to, can you imagine, they don't listen to our meetings? They don't listen, and I repeat it. We try to put it on our Facebook page, trying to do the best we can to get it out there to everybody. But you got to call that number by Wednesday, 4 o'clock. If you call Thursday and it's going to be too late, that's the cutoff. But if you have something out, just call the townships, and I'll make sure that it gets picked up, as long as you give us the leeway and give it to us by Thursday. But other than that, it's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Cindy, you good? No announcements. All right. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have the July 13th meeting minutes, July 24th special meeting minutes, July 27th workshop meeting minutes, and exonerations and refunds. Does anybody want to take anything outside of the consent agenda to discuss? Okay, with that being said, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill list, Nick?
Okay, Mr. Chair. So the general fund, we spent $81,481.62. The interim bills were $114,635.76. The rec fund, $90. Interim bills, $5,582.25. Fire tax fund, $2,415.78. Road machinery fund, $2,540. EIT open space fund, $570. Escrow accounts, $480 for Bangor Area High School athletic field sketch. Chelsea Sun land development, $280. Catretzos minor subdivision, $312. McAtee lot line adjustment, $1,319.25 for a total of $209,706.66. Mr. Chair, can I get a vote to approve the bills?
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Give John the motion and David the second. Okay, any other discussion about the bills? Okay, the motion on the floor, it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ripping through it now.
Ron, subdivisions.
Yes, this matter for Catretzis is from the Planning Commission. It was heard, and Planning Commission recommended approval of this project. I'm not sure if someone is here on behalf of the applicant in the event there would be any questions. Usually we ask someone to be here, but not.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. So that being said, why don't you simply explain to the board in a few words what exactly the project is, and I will take it from there.
Yeah, sure. The project is located on Ramblewood Drive. It's for Tony Catretzos, who many of you know. It's a 34-acre property. It's a flag lot property that we're proposing to subdivide into two 15 plus or minus acre properties. We got a zoning decision to allow the flag lot to access the 2 lots. That was we were at the hearing in December of 25, so the decision was granted. We came in with the plan. The intention of the 2 lots are for single family houses for Tony's family. He intends to put the 2 lots into clean and green upon approval of this plan. Septic testing has been completed. The component 1 planning module has been sent to Scott Policelli and further to DEP. Upon his approval, we did get a letter from him recommending approval subject to some minor changes, which we had addressed. And then other than that, we were at the Planning Commission meeting last month and received a recommendation for approval. We have Justin's review letter. I believe that was from June 15th. We had made a resubmission and we intend to comply with any comments that may be existing or generated from our resubmission.
Thank you. Justin, any issue?
No major issues. I would say that just for the board's information, there's just a few things they have to do in reference to the zoning variances that were obtained. They have to install a driveway with a minimum width of 15 feet using millings. The driveway surface has to be able to withstand the weight of emergency vehicles or emergency apparatus. Applicants shall be required to enter into a shared access agreement, so they're going to have a shared driveway. So they're going to process a shared access agreement with the solicitor. And then there's no further subdivisions of the subject property shall be permitted unless the access driveway is upgraded to meet township saldo standards for streets. So we put together a June 15th review letter, and we are recommending conditional approval on the plan.
Okay, any questions from the supervisors?
Mr. Karasak, any comments?
No, I have in front of me the signed agreement for conditional plan approval, in which the agreed conditions are compliance with the Township Engineer Review Letter of June 15, 2026, that park recreation and open space fees for 2 lots be paid, that the scale waiver be added to the plan, and that the shared access agreement be prepared and approved by me, and the plan to be signed and notarized. So that being said, this matter is in a position for approval of the conditional plan.
Okay. Is there a motion from a supervisor?
I'll make the motion that we plan the land of, excuse my pronunciation, Antonos Kostristos, minor subdivision, conditional preliminary final plan approval.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
McAtee.
Yes, again, I'm not sure. Is anyone here on the McAtee matter?
Yes, coming up.
So again, let's do the same thing as we did with the prior individual. Tell the board about this plan, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, Ryan Denneth from State Line Engineering. This is a lot annexation plan. Brian McAtee and his wife own approximately 45 acres that is currently landlocked off of Ridge Road. He's fortunate enough that his in-laws actually front on Ridge Road. And basically what we're doing here is we're creating a flag lot that's going to grant access to that 45 acres. I will add that he's in the process of putting the property into farmland preservation. Once both these properties are then merged together, it's all going to be part of farmland preservation as well. We've had positive reviews from Township Zoning Officer, SEO, and the Township Engineer alike. We made a revised plan and submission on July 17th. Set all the property corners on July 27th, and I believe all the conditions from that Planning Commission letter have been addressed at this time.
Okay, any questions, Justin?
No, as was stated, it's a fairly straightforward plan, and we like now that the landlocked lot will have access out onto Ridge Road, so we support the plan. And then when the Planning Commission did recommend preliminary final conditional approval.
Okay, Ron?
And again, as we normally do, I have in front of me a signed agreement for conditional plan approval form. in which the conditions are they must secure a township driveway permit. They must comply with the township engineer review letter of July 13, that there be a grant of an easement for the right-of-way along Ridge Road. The monuments, pins, and markers to be set in the field and certified in writing. And I just heard the planning professional say, I believe they were done on July 27, and the plan to be signed and notarized. So this matter, again, is ready for approval if the board is of a mind to do that.
Okay, do we have a motion going forward?
I was at,
Go ahead, Joe.
I was at that planning commission meeting. You intend to have a dual use for the road to have your farming equipment use the fields as well, correct?
Yeah, I believe that is the intent right now, is that they're basically going to be putting a driveway there for the purposes of farm access. Should everything, they have an easement right away through the adjacent Capizzolo farm, and should something happen, or just for ease of doing their own farming, I believe the driveway that they intend to put in off of Ridge Road is going to be primarily for agricultural purposes.
So you expect that driveway to be large enough for the machinery that you used to use on the field?
Yeah, I imagine that's what they will do in the future. We did submit a driveway application permit. I don't know if anybody's been out there to act on it or anything yet.
Did they submit their driveway application? Okay, so they don't need.
Yeah, just so everyone can hear what's being said, that there was an application submitted, but since the cartway, if you will, is being used for farm use right now, the permit is not necessary, but when it becomes to be later developed or have something else done, I believe that our township engineer said at that time, then the permit needs to be finalized. Correct.
With that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the McAtee lot line adjustment, conditional and final plan approval.
Okay, motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Karasak, Bangor Area School District waiver request.
Yes, is anyone here on behalf of the district? Okay, so again, explain to the board what is being done, and then I will comment about whether or not there needs to be land development.
Certainly. So the school district is planning on converting an existing athletic field to a synthetic turf, and then there's a gravel track area around it, and they're paving that. And then we're planning on putting a concrete area for the portable bleachers at the top of the hill, so that people can better observe the use of that field. And there's no buildings, there's no utilities, no water or sewer utilities. So it doesn't meet the actual definition of a land development. We are doing stormwater design. We are doing MPDS permitting. We've submitted to the Conservation District. We've submitted a grading permit and the stormwater design to the township engineer. So we're here basically to request a confirmation that it doesn't meet the definition of a land development.
Was this a field that we were discussing a couple of years ago? I know there was discussion about this a few years back. Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's great that it's moving forward. Justin, any concerns?
Yes, it was my understanding they were going to be requesting a request from the Saldo waiver for land development review, which we supported.
So the way it was set up was, we don't believe that it needs that. We were asking for confirmation of that, but then Mr. Karasek wanted us to request a waiver in case there was a negative interpretation on the matter. And also that would, if you request a waiver, you have to send out notifications to all the neighbors. And the Planning Commission liked the idea of the neighbors getting notified, of the project.
Ron, anything you want to weigh in on?
Well, I've looked at this, and as indicated, their land development is defined under our ordinance as the improvement of one or two or more lots with either buildings, division or allocation of space among two or more occupants, or a subdivision. In this particular matter, the project does not have any buildings of any type. It's not going to have a concession stand. It's not going to create any new roads. It's not going to increase any intense use of the property. There's going to be no bathroom facilities. There's going to be no major extensions for any utilities. And that being said, I simply don't believe it falls within land development. However, I do believe, and this was discussed at Planning Commission, that there still needs to be some conditions on this, and that is number one, that they proceed with a grading plan. Number two, they proceed with the stormwater plan. And number three, they get NPDES permitting from PADEP and the Northampton County Conservation District. I would defer to Justin if there's anything else I may have missed, but that's what my interpretation of the law is with respect to this project.
Mr. Karasak, so what you're saying is if they didn't require a building permit, they don't need to go by DEP standards? When it goes to
No, we're
stormwater?
talking about land development, whether they need to file a plan and come for land development. Nothing to do with building permits. Certainly going to need to get a building permit. They're going to need to get a zoning permit. We're talking about whether they have to go through the process of land development. Lehigh Valley Planning Commission review, Township Planning Commission review, et cetera.
But your criteria of the reports from the environmental surveys, would that be required with or without a building permit?
Reports from the environmental surveys.
Didn't you just say the DEP?
The NPDES permit.
NPDE, yeah.
Yeah, that's not an environmental survey. That's a pollutant discharge permit.
Okay.
Mr. Karasak, if he agrees to these conditions, can we vote on the approval tonight then?
I believe you can. Again, as raised by the applicant, we have the catch-22 in whether or not are we saying it's land development and we're waiving that land development, or are we saying you don't need land development at all? I'm saying when I look at this, they don't need land development, but by the same token, there has to be these other conditions that I've talked about, and maybe Justin will add as part of this. So I would say that this board should probably say that this matter is colorably land development, but you will grant a waiver of land development on the condition of, again, the grading plan, the stormwater plan, and the NPDES permit, along with building permits and zoning permits, et cetera.
And with the school district?
Well, we've actually submitted all of those already. So we have made a grading plan submission to the township. We've made a stormwater submission to the township, and we've submitted for the NPDES permit. So we have no objections to any of that because we've already done it.
Go ahead.
Have you notified the neighbors of the plan going forward
Absolutely.
already?
Yes.
Okay.
We've sent out the notices and everything.
So we could just do a waiver at this point, right?
Yeah, to do a waiver, you have to acknowledge that it was land
Yeah.
development, and then you do the waiver. I'm saying that I'm not sure if we can say this was land development in the first instance, but in order to make this clean, I would say that you should accept the motion that says it appears that this may be subject to land development, maybe not positively, maybe subject to land development, and accordingly, the board waives any land development requirements based upon those conditions that I stated.
Okay.
And by adding these conditions, you're basically meeting the spirit of the ordinance. You're having it go through township engineer review, zoning officer review. It's going to go through conservation district review and DEP review in reference to their stormwater management. So for all intents and purposes, they're going through the motions except for the formal process to the planning commission. So.
Okay, I'll try and make the motion, but I don't know what I'm going to do at it.
It's a
But
little unique.
so I'll make a motion that we waive any land development fee if this is determined to be land development, but we don't believe it is land development. And by subjecting themselves to the 3 conditions mentioned by Justin. Justin, give me the conditions of stormwater.
Stormwater grading plan for the
grading
township.
plan,
MPDES permit from
NPDS permit?
MPDS permit from
Permit,
DEP.
okay.
And then a conservation district approval.
Yeah, and we'll add all that as subject to my motion. So that'll be my motion. Did I do it?
Close enough. I think it's okay.
Cindy, did you get all that? Then I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Portland Borough Authority Intergovernmental Agreement. Ron.
Yes.
The Portland Borough Authority has been having issues with respect to vandalism and damage to the wells that are part of their system that are located in Upper Mount Bethel Township. And consequently, they are asking that the township delegate or allow the Portland Police Department to issue citations and basically do what's necessary to protect their wells in the township. There needs to be an agreement to this effect because obviously the wells are in the township. Portland Police do not have jurisdiction in the township unless there is an agreement to that effect. And if there is an agreement to that effect, there has to be an ordinance to approve of that agreement, not only by the township, but also by Portland Borough, as in any intermunicipal agreement. The request seems relatively simple, but, there could be issues regarding workers' compensation if someone gets hurt, who's paying for the police if they get hurt in the township, if there's liability or insurance issues with someone maybe being improperly detained, et cetera. And even police misconduct. So there are some issues with it. It's not as simple as it sounds. Unfortunately, very few things are, but that's what the request is. And I'm not sure if you want to have our township manager check with our insurance carrier to see if there's any issues if something like this occurs before you take any action. That's up to you, but that's what the request is about.
Yeah, I would absolutely have Nick reach out to our insurance.
Is there a representative here from the Water Authority? Because I have a lot of questions regarding this topic.
Chief Potter, if you could come up, please. And then Ron, another thing that I might think about putting in here is if Upper Mount Bethel ever did get a police force, then Portland and Upper Mount Bethel would have to amend this.
Right. Or it would could be vacated.
Yeah, or terminates automatically. Yeah.
Sure.
John, go ahead.
Are there any other options besides yielding jurisdiction? Like, I know that it's 3 pieces of land. They are pretty large. Are they is there signage?
Yes.
To prevent people
But it's been removed numerous times.
So the signage is being removed.
Numerous times.
Has it been put up again?
Within 48 hours, yes.
So before this, I haven't heard of anything happening on that property. So how often a year, and what are the actual, to the extent is the damage?
Well, it's not only damage, it's them highlining across the old quarry also. Besides the damage that's been done that we're not going to publicly say.
Okay.
And we have the problem with the highliners. There was 33 cars on National Park Drive last Friday afternoon. So there was probably 2 to 4 people in each car. So there was at least 100 of them probably back on our property.
What is the total land mass of the 3 parcels?
Around 140 acres, give or take.
What's total land mass of Portland? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't live in the borough.
Okay. How much taxes are paid per year?
I have no idea.
I believe it's an intergovernmental
probably none.
contract that no taxes are paid for that
We
land.
don't pay taxes, right?
No taxes, right?
It's an authority.
So it's a tax exemption.
It's Portland Borough Authority. We don't pay taxes.
Being that the wells are on Mount Bethel land, on average, how much a year does Portland charge Mount Bethel for the emergency use of fire hydrants?
I think it's 70 a hydrant.
70 per hydrant?
$70 a hydrant.
How many hydrants?
In the township, probably 20. Somewhere around 20, maybe. 15 or 20.
Would Mount Bethel receive half the citation as we do with the state police if they write any citations in the township?
I would imagine. It's in the township.
That would have to be in this contract as well, if agreed upon.
I have no clue. Does the state police give you half?
Yeah.
When they're up there?
To the citations.
Yeah. If they do an arrest on the borough property, do they give the township half?
Yeah, there's a line item in our
I would imagine it'd
in
be
our
the
bill
same
list.
then.
Here's the thing, when we were talking about negotiating with East Bangor, if there's a police force in our township that's operating that we approve, state police might not respond. They're gonna consider them the police department for our area. And it's the same thing with East Bangor, so it's a question for the sergeant down there that I think we should speak to him about.
Speak to who?
Sergeant Gerloff.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he mentioned that, because I asked him about East Bangor, if they come, he says they will call them, and then if there's a call for something that's minor, they'll say, just call East Bangor in the morning. We won't respond. Maybe they're gonna do that to Portland. Does Portland want to do that? Are they gonna wanna, I don't think that's been addressed.
Yeah, I think we need more of a conversation behind this. I think we need to do a little more talking. But Chief, I appreciate you
That's
coming
fine.
up.
Yeah, I mean, we're just looking to protect our wells and our quarry. I guess in a more easy fashion.
Yeah.
If the borough guys are on, they'll go up there and the park rangers will go with them. And PSP is normally with them anyway.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to go back there with 30, 40, 100 people alone.
Yeah.
Well, I did have one more question. I can follow up with the rest of the questions with you later if you'd like.
Sure.
But would Portland ordinance or UMBT ordinance take precedent when dealing on UMBT land?
What's that?
Would Portland laws that they have in place be issued for that, or would the UMBT ordinances? What ordinances would the Portland police be following when they're on Mount Bethel land?
It's our land. It's the borough land.
I would say to you, the police will be enforcing Upper Mount Bethel Township ordinances. They can't enforce Portland ordinances that are not in Portland, on property that's not
Right.
important.
It's all in the township.
Yeah, so the Upper Mount Bethel ordinance would apply.
And I mean, we have trespassing is our biggest problem right now. Trespassing and some damage that was done. And we're actually addressing both of them.
Okay, so let Nick check with the insurance company and
Yeah,
let him check with
that's fine,
Sergeant Gerloff as well.
Yeah, very good.
And then we'll get back. Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief.
And that being said, Mr. Chair, I make a motion we table action item 10, number 1, to for further date.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up is data center MOU. So we did put the MOU up on the website. I know everybody, I would say most of you here have seen it, and your public comments reflect that today as well. I have gone through the MOU on my side. I would say at this point, there's no way in heck we should be signing the MOU. It's the first draft, and in my opinion, it favors heavily the developer. So I think we all need to go through it. I think, we can talk to people, we could bring it to our office hours, and I think we have to get comments together. Ron, have you gone through the MOU? Have you even seen it yet?
Yes, I've gone through it. I had it about a week ago, I believe, when it came in.
Okay.
How it got, or when it got to the township website, I'm not sure, but.
Yeah. So it wasn't supposed to go on the website, but there was a right to know request. We agreed with the right to know request. And then at that point it said, well, if we gave it to her for the right to know, then we should just put it up on the website and let everybody see. Because we're going to get, once one person sees it, then everybody's going to want to see it. So that's why we're doing that. And that's why we're putting the data center ordinance up as well. So you guys can all go see that. But this MOU, I mean, section 3.3 and section 3.8, concerns me right off the bat. And one thing to think about is whether we tie this MOU into the data center ordinance that Justin drafted, and we put them together, because I think they're tied into each other. And we have to make sure that if there's something in the MOU that conflicts with the data center ordinance, that the data center ordinance trumps the MOU. That's what we have to make sure. So I think we're just in the beginning stages, but I'll let everybody have a chance to speak up. But at this point, there's no way in heck I would entertain a motion to sign this MOU. But I'll open it up to the other supervisors.
I think we need a more concise legal interpretation of everything mentioned in here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how a company's run. I mean, I work on agreements, MOUs, I'm a transactional attorney myself. Of course they're gonna write it and make it favor them. I mean, that's the way business is done, and they're expecting us to come back with a bunch of revisions. I do have ideas that we can talk about, but I think we need to worry about the data center ordinance and the MOU almost at the same time to make sure. But go ahead, David.
No, you're familiar with this, and I know Mr. Karasak can write up a synopsis of what he feels, but as presented, I'm no lawyer, but I'm not happy with this at all.
Well, I think that's what this is supposed to be about now. The reason that it wasn't put onto the township website and posted earlier is that we haven't had a chance to discuss what we would like to alter on this into a final form that it can be voted on. This did stem from this board and the special exemption meeting, or the curative amendment. My apologies. And the ordinance. So instead of altering the text amendment, we had a meeting on doing a curative amendment. Since our meetings need to be aired in public, the developer issued their own curative amendment to the zoning board with a preliminary plan sketched into it. Jason and I had a meeting with the developer 2 weeks ago, I believe, last week. My apologies for not stating it in my announcements as I usually do. This memorandum is to kind of protect the township and get us back to where we were moving forward in a more secure way. As I see it, and Ron, please correct me if I'm wrong, if they take the curative amendment that they already put forth to the zoning board, if the zoning board does as Pam Dalinante, from that email, suggested if they reject it, that would mean that the township does not have any zoning for a data center, and the data center can then be put on farmland or in residential area. Please.
The validity challenge is basically saying that the township right now does not have a data center ordinance. As a result, the ordinance is invalid and improper, and they have requested that they be given the ability to place this data center on their property, which is a site-specific request. It's a little different than being able to put it other places. Right now, the request is we want to put a data center on our property because you don't have anything in your ordinance to say where it can go. So we've decided we want to put it on our property. Now, could someone else make that request, et cetera? Well, perhaps, but right now that's where that is. And if the zoning board says, you are correct, Mr. Developer, the township does not have an ordinance and for data centers, and the ordinance is then invalid, the zoning board can say you can place the data center on the property of 700 and some acres.
So if the zoning board says that it is within the industrial zone, then they would be governed by the text amendment as it is written today.
Yeah, they would still have to apply or abide by the text amendment because that text amendment was in effect at the time their application came in. The question becomes what other things that are part of their application that are not in the text amendment and are not in the ordinance that they could perhaps wiggle around.
I hope that was clear to the majority of the people here. This isn't about saying no to an agreement. This agreement is to ensure that the township still has a voice in what happens. They have a 60-day clock. If this isn't amended to the supervisor's perfection, there are things in here that I don't like. I personally think that the Upper Mount Bethel Municipal Authority should be removed from it because we don't acknowledge them anymore. One of the motions sections in here of 2.4 requires the termination of the facilities agreement that I'm to understand is dissolving the municipal authority through our action. So I would like that removed. The section 2.5 about the LERTA. We don't give the LERTA. We can make a recommendation to the county whether we feel that they should be getting the LERTA or not, but we don't have any say in that. This is a question more for Mr. Coyle, but I would like to personally see a decommissioning plan. And I don't know if that's better in the text amendment, but perhaps in this, anything that is built there should have a decommissioning plan. If anything happens in the future, we can return that land back to its current, or to utilize it for another use that is more beneficial to the township. So what I was saying about is the second part of 2.1, which is condition upon the execution of this MOU, Slate Belt agrees to grant such written extensions as are necessary to continue and postpone the validity challenge proceedings. That's what we're trying to postpone so the township can change the text amendment to include the definitions for a data center as well as increase building setbacks, lower building heights, put in regulations for water. All these things will not be a factor if they decide to push right to zoning.
So what I would suggest is that the supervisors each take the MOU back, put your comments on the MOU, send them to, maybe send them to, first send them to Cindy, and I'll help you, Cindy. We'll put all the comments together on one document, so you don't have 5 different MOUs for the supervisors. We'll put all the comments on one. We'll send it to Ron. Ron will give his review. So let's take a week. So by next Monday, let's have the comments all to Cindy. Then Cindy, you and I will get together, get them to Ron. And when we get all the comments together that are going to Ron, we'll keep it on the website so you see where we're coming from and you can see what we're doing at this point to negotiate the MOU.
But the supervisors have had this for a week. We are on a clock, on a 60-day clock. If we don't at least discuss it tonight, I already told you the things that I would like to see changed. We need to addressing the.
I think give the supervisors a week. I know you work nonstop.
I still went through it and wrote notes because I knew how important this is.
Okay, so we'll get it all to Cindy. I have notes as well, but I was giving us a week to kind of listen to people. Let's hear what the people say. We heard a lot of comments tonight. I think we're still fine within the 60-day period.
I think that we need to set a special meeting for the text amendment so we can really fine tune that. This is the entrance door to the text amendment.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to move forward tonight on this with all our comments. We just heard people who have just read it for the first time. I'd like to start talking to people and get their feedback.
So we did take into our last meeting, we took some of the public comments that you guys did share with us, your concerns. The issue about eminent domain and power lines, the power lines that they're going to be using are existing. They're there already. They have also agreed not to pull water from our aquifers or the river if they use a closed loop system. But the text amendment is what we can use to hold their feet to the fire. They do have to accept it. Our alternate to this is that they go to zoning. The text amendment is now what they have to abide by, and we don't get a chance to put in increased regulations. Because it's their land and it's zoned industrial. If we had the money to buy the land, we probably would have by now. But we don't.
I asked a question earlier. The ordinance you're proposing will not affect the current data center. Yes or no?
I'm unsure of that, and I would have to seek legal counsel to answer that question.
Oh, you minute ago, you said it doesn't. Oh, shit.
All right, so why don't we take a week to get our changes to the MOU, get them over to Cindy, and then we'll get Cindy to Ron, because Ron needs to look at all of our comments. You can send them to me tonight. If we get it done sooner, we get it done sooner. But let's at least give a week and give Ron a chance to review it.
Can we plan a special meeting so that we can have this looked at in a week? Would be an off week for
If
us,
he's
and
ready.
then we can also include the text amendment alterations that Mr. Coyle wrote up. And we need to deliberate on this, and we need to find the answer sooner
Agreed.
than just passing it down the
Agreed.
line.
We're going to send up a few special meetings because I'm going to table the ambulance tonight. We've got Wild and Scenic, so we can put the text amendment
Why is the Wild and Scenic coming back?
because we've talked about it with Talon. We talked about it with, it started for my office hour. Yeah, so, but we'll worry about that. But the bottom line is,
I call it flip-flopping, but yeah.
the bottom line is that I'll set up the special meetings for the text amendment for this, and we'll do it that way. And I think we'll have to start sooner at 6 p.m. as well.
That's impossible.
Or 6:30 then.
That's impossible. It's
Okay.
there's no way.
Okay.
It's
Can,
got to be.
can we
7,
look at the
unfortunately,
calendar
it'll work.
and try and set a meeting tonight so that we
No, I
could
gotta
be
look at my
prepared
stuff. I gotta
for
look
it?
at my calendar. We can do it tomorrow. We'll set it by tomorrow. Yeah,
Well, we are, and we still have to deliberate in public.
we'll be fine.
So that's
Everybody accuses
that's the
us
issue.
of talking behind doors, but this is the only chance that we get to talk. We can't. We have to do this.
We'll do it. We'll set up special meetings. The public will be informed. You'll come to all of it.
Jason, since you were at the meeting, is there anything else that you want to say?
I think you covered everything that we talked about. It was relatively only an hour long, and I think we went over all the topics, like some of the comments. So there's nothing else to add. You covered everything, John.
The questions, I'll answer the questions after the meeting. I know you have questions, all right? But I want to move along because it's already 9:30 and it's hot as heck in here. What? How many questions are there? Who, I can't see your hands. Oh, all right, come on up.
Just 2 questions.
Yeah.
Did the clock start a week ago?
Over a week ago.
So the clock started over a week ago. There's no magic to a week. Can't you guys do this in a couple of days? I'm worried about setting up a special meeting. You're going to have all the 30-day, I don't want to eat up the window with you having to post a special meeting 30 days in advance. Every minute you lose here on that 60-day, we've already lost a week.
We'll get this special
All right.
meeting set up by tomorrow.
I think we're nearly, what, 16 days down from their 60-day. They are willing to offer an extension, but we have to show that we're moving forward with something.
We are
can't just
moving
dilly.
forward, but I don't
Or
think
they're
we
going to
should-
cut right into it.
Guys,
We're 14 days in because you won't document behind closed doors. Today we have to stand in public thought. So it's not fair to put it back on us. We need the opportunity to look at it in a full and fair fashion and offer you that good information and that good advice. We would have given it to you 14 days ago. But you denied us that opportunity.
The text amendment is something that could really do with a lot of public input and support. And you guys were asking things to be put into the MOU that should go into the text amendment. So this is assuring that we will move forward with the text amendment.
okay.
All due respect, I disagree that suggesting that the money goes to the nonprofit assures that the money's going to the municipality. A municipality, a governmental entity, is different than a nonprofit. So there are a lot of things about this MOU that you could and should get good information from the public, including additional legal resources, expert resources. You've heard a lot from tonight. Here you on the text amendment, but please don't suggest that we don't have good information for you on the MOU, and please don't use the time pressure you've created for yourself by failing to release this information. Don't use that to put a tiny punch on us. That's not fair. We have good information so you can benefit from it.
Yeah, okay.
Again, usually we
So-
release information to the public after we assess it, talk about it, change it to the way that we think the township should benefit, and then we would post it online for people to critique. So what you're seeing now is the developer's copy. There are things that we want to change. But this is really just an understanding that we're willing to work together to move forward, to find a solution, because we can't prevent them from building there. So let's
Time out, guys. Guys, let us get through this, all right? So the bottom line is, I don't agree with the MOU where it is right now. We're gonna get the comments. We'll do a special meeting. I'll select a date. I'll run it by you guys. We'll all come figure it out, and we'll move forward from there. In the meantime, any of you who have comments about the MOU, email them to any of the supervisors. We'll take a look at them and we'll discuss them, and we'll do it in a public meeting.
Thank
Yeah, chief.
Just one quick question. I'm a little
Yeah.
confused. Normally, everybody knows I stay neutral, but just for my own understanding, legally, after the 60 days, what happens if nothing is acted upon or
It would
anything?
go to zoning.
Okay.
If zoning said no, we don't have the ability that the data center is not included in the industrial zone.
Okay.
By state law, they can put it on residential land. They can put it on ag land. And they would probably stick to the industrial zone, but include the 90 acres that they were looking to put the water treatment plant on, and it would be even larger, or has the ability to be larger.
They could grant an extension, couldn't they, Ron?
The 60-day time limit runs from when the application was filed. The application was filed on July 23. So if you count 60 days, you're going to September 21. So if the hearing is not held by September 21 and no extension has been given.
Hey, can we keep it down, please, just so we can hear Ron? Go ahead.
If the hearing is not held by September 21 and no extension has been given, they are given their application is deemed approved. Now, if they extend the application, the date, and they say that in the MOU that we're willing to extend this date, provided we are working in good faith to try to develop an ordinance that meets everyone's approval, well, then we're okay.
Yeah.
But something has to happen
So-
by September 21.
So they would just get
either
the
an
go-ahead?
extension or a
Sorry.
hearing.
Yeah, so we have until September 21st. If it gets to be like September 18th, we can say, hey, guys, we need an extension. Can you give us another 60 days? Well, we see that they want to negotiate in good faith, and they've been good so far. So, that's all.
I would just like to say, at the last Board of Supervisors meeting, someone brought up Archibald, Pennsylvania. I did work up there, and I talked to some of the locals there, and it is absolutely true. They're looking to put 15 different data centers all around next to the school, in the middle of neighborhoods, because they don't have it in their zoning. This is something that we are trying to avoid.
Okay, Chief, do you have anything else?
No, I'm just still confused. So after 60 days, they can do whatever they want. You guys go ahead.
Well, I'll come and talk to you.
This presupposes
Guys.
that their validity challenge is going to be successful. I just want to offer that. So you may have done that assessment behind scenes, right? But they have brought forth a challenge and you've articulated a process if they were victorious, right? But there is another side to the
Okay, so
assessment, the
if
municipality
zoning
side.
says, yes, they can build in the industrial,
ya.
they're going to go full building height.
I hear you.
and
I'm just
they're gonna
saying,
have no, but please,
assessing,
ma'am, hold on.
assessing,
I'm
but
going
you
to
said
answer.
this, assessing the quality of their validity challenge, it should be part of your analysis. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right.
They
thank
issued
you.
their validity challenge. It's going to the zoning. If they are allowed to build, we're having discussions about increasing the setback to the property line from residents' home, from the park, from where it is now at 20 feet to 200, 250 feet. We are, the only thing that the supervisors have been negotiating for is residential and environmental protections. I promise you, the CBA amount never came out of my mouth. That is nice that we can use this for the community, and it will be straight for the community. We got together a chairs to the table meeting to come up with some of the ways that we can spend this money. Some of it was to start up incentives for farmers, something that has, everyone claims the farmers, but they've been neglected at every negotiation. And this is, ma'am, I see you, but this is not the start of the negotiation. We started negotiating last year with AWS to build a data center there. That failed.
Guys,
So what's the problem? Why can't you take another
another week and you even ask for an extension, what is your rush?
That they can say no.
All right, guys,
We can't file the extension. They have to file the extension.
Guys, we have.
This is our ask.
Stop. We have until September 21st. We'll take our time. We're not gonna rush, okay? All right. I'll put out the special meeting tomorrow, but we are not gonna rush. Thank you.
Are we able?
All right.
Are we able to discuss and vote on the MCU during the special meeting for the text amendment? Because
the MOU?
The MOU, my apologies. If we don't agree to this, talking about changing the text amendment will be off the table.
All right. Well,
Jason, you were at the meeting. Am I speaking the truth?
All right. Let's talk. Okay. What?
You want to keep tabling it.
I'm not tabling it. I'm saying let's take our time and think it through. The residents just got it today. No. Nick.
Jonathan's at a different meeting than you.
Everybody's, because we're allowing supervisors to take turns. Corey's going to be at the next meeting.
They see it differently than you.
Embassy Bank CDs. Nick? Go ahead.
Unfortunately, it was the unwarranted curative
Embassy
amendment
Bank
that was
CDs.
put up that pushed us into this spot.
We wouldn't be here
That-
if that didn't get put up.
The negotiations before, although not on paper, because it was still being massaged, and we were still looking at the best regulations to put forward. The curative amendment is what forced their hand, and now we are in a reaction phase instead of negotiating in good faith to get the best turnout for our residents and the environment.
Okay, that's it. Nick, move on. Go.
You want to talk about the CDs?
Yeah.
So we have the Embassy Bank CDs. They're all becoming, they all actually matured, so tomorrow I can go to the bank and change them. We have the two ARPA, the COVID funds that were put away when we received that money. So this is the last of it. And this money goes towards
was an
paying
action item. We
the
can't
second
just
payment
overlook
of
the
the
action item, can we?
fire truck that we bought for Bangor. It's approximately $250,000. We have two accounts that are, one is, the current balance is $128,000 in each one of them. But that's without the interest that we have. So those we're gonna cash in, and that money's gonna be used to pay for the payment for, that's due in October.
Okay.
All right, so that, we already agreed on all that, but I want to bring that aware. But the other funds that are our fund, the non-ARPA funds, there's three of them. They have approximately 55,000 in each. I wanted to renew those and stagger them like we did last time. If the board wants to do something different, that's fine. That's why I want to bring it up now. I checked with Fidelity Bank, that's our other bank, and their fee, their interest rate was not as good as the ones from Embassy. And they don't offer a 24-month. Actually, it's a 25-month. They don't offer. They only offer up to a 12. The 7-month is 3.6%. The 25-month is 3.4%, and the 13-month is 3.5%. So those are the only two banks that you guys approved for us to use for the funding for the 2026 year. So. Just want to make sure that you're okay with those funds. I could take care of this tomorrow and just transfer them into the new accounts.
So we need a motion to roll over the CDs at the staggered timeline.
Did you get that, Cindy, the amounts?
Cindy.
Did you get the
motion?
Did you get the amounts was 3.6 for 7 months. It's 3.4% for 25 months. And 3.5% for 13 months.
And I made the motion to roll them over at those interest rates staggered as they already are.
Yeah, that's what we did last time, is just to try to catch everything going up and down whenever.
Okay, I even make a motion that we roll over the CDs at the rates that were just given to Cindy at the staggered timeline that Mr. Graziano just mentioned.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I have a point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
The data center MOU is under action item, so I believe we either have to table it or make a motion to act.
Okay, so I will make a motion to table the data center MOU for a special meeting to be determined.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Aye.
Did it in a week.
3-2. Okay. So we'll move forward. Data, ambulance coverage. I make a motion that we table ambulance coverage.
Second.
Okay, motion on the floor. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Data Center Committee, Supervisor Erler.
This was spoken about at the last meeting. It's not so much as a data center committee. It's one liaison from each committee to go to a data center. So I guess it's semantics in the way that it's worded. But I've had a lot of people saying that they wanted to be on the data center committee. And we are taking a representative from each of the groups. I found out today that no email went out. I'm sorry, Nick, but I assume that you would contact the different committees, the various committees. The EDC did not receive any correspondence on the member that we're trying to look for. Again, if you didn't take part in last week's meeting, we want to visit a data center as close as we can get to what could be in Upper Mount Bethel, to get a chance to talk to the residents, to talk to the business owners. I don't suspect we'd be allowed in due to the high-tech nature, and I'm not really concerned about going inside. I'm concerned about talking to the residents around it. So I did send out an email to some knowledgeable data center people about which one would be a best one, and that one we have yet to be determined. Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be better to wait until we know what kind of cooling or what kind of stuff we're putting in here for since it's supposed to that way? This committee does go, I think it's a good idea to go. We should know what we're looking for. And this is a good data center that.
I think that we can do that also, but we should do it now. We can go twice. There's nothing that's stopping us. But everyone's asking us to go see a data center. Have you ever experienced a data center? With how many people have said it? How can we sit here and keep saying we're going to ignore that fact? So we would like to go. Shane.
With all due respect, and I made this point previously, again, with all due respect, what we are facing across this entire nation is a general term that's being used, data center, okay? They're not all cloud-based data centers.
And we have no idea if this is going to be a hypercenter or not.
That's I agree with you. So my point is, if you go and see some arbitrary data center, it may be completely irrelevant in helping you form your decision on what it is that you may or may not need to do.
100%. There are generally 8 different types of data centers. We don't know the end user. We want to go see one of a similar size and environmental layout and geography, so we can get as close as we can to what we may be, but it'll never be a perfect match. If it's a hypercenter, that terminology means that it's one user for all the buildings. They could have multiple different buildings with multiple different users.
Why don't you guys talk about a plan? I think, work.
But what action are we going to take on actually forming the committee? Do we have any movement, Nick?
So why don't we open it up to the public? If we've had people If
No,
you- yeah.
they just haven't responded. I've heard from committees that they are interested. I did not get a chance to go to the environmental committee. Judy, did you talk about this at all? But we want people that are invested in the township. And they are advisory committees. So we want the advisement from them and their
We discussed.
So, John, do you need a motion or anything? Or is this
We
just an
could,
update?
why don't we go to Berwick? It's the closest one. And, why don't we go there? It's the closest. Okay.
Can we bring residents from that town here so you can learn? I
You-
know a whole bunch of people in Berkeley.
You guys can go whenever you want, but the problem is,
No, they want to bring those
Get in touch with me.
residents
Get
here.
Uh,
in touch with me.
why can't, I'd rather go there to speak to their engineer, speak to their zoning
Yeah, I
officer,
think it's-
speak to the
it's
community.
our job
Speak to the
to see it
community.
firsthand.
All right. So, what are we doing now on the committee? Are you gonna send out a follow-up email? and-
I can, yeah, because I think we should go to Berg. It's an hour and a half away, right? Is that right? An hour from here? Berwick? Yeah, it's about an hour and a half, so we could spend time. We could spend time instead of going down to Virginia. This is a Talon, I think, community.
In your meeting, Jason, that you had with Talon, are they close to finding an end user or no? Or they didn't say? Okay.
I believe it's
All right.
Amazon.
All right, so
Did not say.
No?
let's leave it at that. Send out another email to the
So we're gonna
committee.
go, we'll suggest that we're gonna go to Berwick.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
yeah, I think that's the
So
best
we need to set a
opportunity.
date. Whoever is in, one liaison.
One
from every
liaison
committee.
from each board,
If they don't want to submit someone, that position is closed.
but they need to be a volunteer. They need to be a member of the board.
Yes.
Just insurance purposes.
And if at all possible, if all the supervisors could go, I'd recommend it as long as we have someone that keeps us in the legal range that we wouldn't be violating sunshine. If that is possible, I would love for that to be in play.
You can go, you can have more than two supervisors go, but you can only listen, you can't deliberate, you can't discuss. You're just going for informational purposes.
How do the other supervisors feel on this matter?
Oh, well, we'll go.
I think we should do it.
Okay.
And also, if you remember, John, in the meeting, Talon actually said that they could give us a place to go. Send us to one of their data
I
centers.
would like to keep it kind of our decision on,
Well, yeah.
on the location. I don't want them to lead us to
Yeah, well,
something
yeah.
that is, has nothing around it.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeman, how do you feel on visiting one of these sites?
I'm open to visiting one.
I'm sorry, what was
I'm
that?
open.
And Mr. Birmingham?
Okay.
Decide how old of a data center you're gonna go look at.
We
What
want to
type?
get one that's going to be relative. If we can't get size, we have to look at technology basics.
We're not,
Right.
and
that
we're
we're
not,
able to
Right.
know.
and we're not just doing one trip. This has got to be done carefully, and we've got to have experts with us who know what the heck
The
they're
closest
looking
one that
for.
I saw that is a similar size and kind of layout is like 6.5 hours away in Ohio. I'm sure that there are some in Virginia, but for my search criteria,
Data center from Otter, they don't need to move as much as the Takeover data center.
and they also said that they wouldn't be taking water from the aquifer or the river, and they would air cool in the winter when it was applicable.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything for
But that's all the stuff that we
executive
need
session?
in the text amendment,
Absolutely
or else
not.
it's just promises.
All right. With that being said, you can ask us any questions after the meeting. We'll do another special meeting. Keep an eye out on the Township Facebook page, on our website as well. And we want to hear from you. We're having office hours again Wednesday, August 26th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. right here.
Special meeting's gonna be next week.
What's that?
The special meeting's gonna be
And we'll have to look at everybody's calendar.
we have a week.
Yeah.
Cindy, what days are available for the municipal building?
We can do this offline. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Okay.